Well, as you can see, I've got quite a bit more done now. Still a lot to go, of course, but I've been putting some lights in those buildings. Tony's nightclub, of course, and I've even put a little strip there with 3 LEDs for over the sign there. It does look a bit too bright though. I might have to just put a bit of yellow on that light just to tone it down a bit. Got some lights in the bigger buildings down there, and of course the grass work with the added flowers. And it's not looking bad now. I was just going to start now with doing some ballasting, because all this has to be ballasted, of course. Lights on down there. I'm waiting for some more stuff coming. I want some walling and some more lights, street lights. I broke 1 or 2 of them others, and of course then I've got all that lot to start up there to ballasting now. You've seen me do it before, but I'll just show again because I know there's also a few now with those main lights on. Right, get me ballast. You've seen these before, but they make the job a lot easier. It just sits on your track like that and pour your ballast in there. And just a case of running along the tracks like that. Don't do too much at once, and just nice and steady. And then just keep topping up and carrying on. I'll just do a bit and then I'll show you what I'll do after. A fair bit down. What you do then is get your brush and just brush it in into the edges there, and then I just run my thumb on over the sleepers, clear the edges, and run your finger down the middle, just like that. Just like that, yeah. You see, I've got to spray it and paint afterwards, but I'll continue doing that, and then I'll show you once I've got it all laid down, and then we wet it with water, a little drop of washing up liquid in, and then we put the PVA on top. I'll show you again how to do this. I'll just go down with the brush. Next stage is just, I say, wetting all that. It's a mixture of water with just a splash of washing up liquid in. It helps to soak into the ballast a lot easier then. Don't worry about some of that ballast blowing over onto, well, it's blowing over onto my road here, but you just, when it's all dry, you can just vac that up. The main thing is to get your ballast really wet, and then your PVA will just soak in, no problem. I have trouble with these squirters, they tend to pack in after so long. You can see what I've done there. And I just got, this is PVA mixed, it's about 70% PVA. I get this, it's a child's one I think, but it's cheap enough, £1.50 I think for a bottle. What I've done is I put there's about 80% PVA and 20% water, and again just a splash of washing up liquid helps to soak it in. And I just run it down and let that soak in. You'll need to leave it then 24 hours, depending how warm your loft is or your shed or what have you, but it can take 48 hours here to go solid, and then you can start clearing it all up. And so, I know you think it looks a mess, but I'll show you that in another couple of hours and how it's soaked in. Again, I'll just say, make sure you get your ballast well and truly wet with your water. You want a good spray though, not have use until that clever. Because if it's too keen, it's blowing hard, it'll blow your ballast all over. And then the thing is, get your mixture in, plenty on, don't be frightened, it'll soak in. And it'll go solid, and that's how you want it. You don't want it being too soft. You're doing that outer one now. like I say, it's hard to get all the stuff these days. I couldn't get any more brown ballasts, so I've had to do with that grey. But since I'm painting with that track grime afterwards, it doesn't really matter. But, you can see it's starting to soak in here now. So by tomorrow it'll look a lot different. One of the things I've done, I've topped that pond up with that realistic water. It's dried, it takes about 2-3 days to dry, does that. And then I just use some of these tufts of grass. You can buy them or you can make your own actually. It's like just like little tufts and stick around the edge. It's quite effective then. I think a lot sell them, but I know if you get some of your static grass and do it in clumps on a sheet, preferably a metal sheet or something, and you have your own clumps. But for what these cost, I don't know, I can't remember now, but I think £2 or £3 you get a full strip of them. They're quite effective though then. Right, well, it's 24 hours since I did this ballasting, and it's still not 100% dry. But what I advise doing after your 24 hours, just go down with a screwdriver on the edges of your rails, and then you can get all the bits out before they set solid. And then of course the other thing is, when it is really dry, go over with a rubber and rub the tops of the rails, of course, but also on the sleepers, and get the excess off. And then just put your vac on and get it all off. But I'm going to leave that, and then I'll leave it another day for painting. Track grime over, and then it'll all come out the same colour. In fact, I'll just show you a little bit here. This bit of track here is something I just filled in a bit more. But there you can see the difference using that track grime, you see. Well, I shall then go over with that rust on the rails. But to do it right, I'm going to wait another 24 hours now. And also when you've used your paint, straight away go over with a cloth, just get the excess, get that paint off your rails. And then when it's dry, you say you go over with your track rubber and that'll bring it off. It'll look a lot different when it's all painted. Right, we've gone 48 hours now and this ballast is all dry. I did say before as well, just going around the edges of your track with like a screwdriver or whatever, just to, and it's stuck to the rails and you can loosen it off. And then of course go around with your rubber. I just go between the tracks all the way around, and don't forget to clean your track of course. Just an example there anyway, but do it, go all the way around, do that, and then can tape it over. And then next job of course is to do the sleeper grime, which is that one I use. I'm going to use probably 2 or 3 tins on this lot, but anyway I'll show you with my next stage when I get to that. Anyway, I've done a bit more grassing, more or less finished this area. It just needs all painting again. It's certainly looking a lot better now. But I'll just rest at scraping this off and rubbing it down, and then I'll show you me spraying it. I forgot to say, of course, look, common sense, you go down with your vac. This is one I use. That's all you loose up then. Do all that of course before you think of painting. Another good idea as well, I ain't got one just at hand, but if you have a brush, just go around with a brush in front of where you're doing your vacuum, and it's semi-loose, it'll just loosen it off. You can use tape, or I put newspaper either side. Just do a little bit at a time, but it's easier doing it with newspaper. You're not having to tape it down. Because you use sticky tape, of course, when you pick it up you're going to lift some of your grass. But this is all how I do it. just a little bit at a time, and then move it along. And of course after each one you've done, to save it being harder work later on, is just wipe your rails. That'll add the rust as a finishing touch then. But that's all I'm doing. I'm not going to show you doing all the way around, it'll take all day. But that's how I do it. You see the effect it's getting now. And what I'm doing is, you know, I told you about the puffer bottles with a bit of grass in. I just add that bit going round. I've put some of that burnt grass down as well. In fact, it's easier with that. Get some burnt grass and use your fingers if you want. Just sprinkle a bit down between your tracks there. And then of course just put a bit of spray on, and when all that lot dries, now we can paint the tracks with the rust. It'll look a lot better. Right, as you see now with bits of grass, I've used that burnt grass and fine turf etc. just in between, and a bit of spring grass. But just that bits it just in between track, and it sort of makes it look a lot better. And then the final thing is I use this, it's rust for weathering rust, and I just add a bit of water to it. It's the cheapest way, then rather than, there's some kits you can buy for rusting tracks, but they're expensive anyway, and it don't go so far. But this is all I do. Just paint the rail. You only want a bit on. Put a bit on your sleepers. Make it look as though. And if it's a bit bright, which that is actually, you can always put a bit of black in with it. I'll wipe it down. And then you can see what it looks like when it's finished. I'm not going to bore you to death showing you going all the way around, but and of course get your rubber on it. Track's shining again. You can see that effect already, and when I've got it all done I'll show you when I've done it all. But yeah, comes out alright. There you have it. I've gone just to that gate down there, but just to show you. And that's what I use. It's just weathering powder, Umbral weathering powder, and I just put a bit in a dish and a drop of water so that it's like paint. And I say if you think it's too much, then I also have a bit of black handy. You can sort of like, I don't sleepers quite a bit there, but you can always darken it down a bit again. Too much paint on that, but you get the idea. When it's all done, it I'll say I'm better off showing it you when I've finished, aren't I? But I just wanted to show you how I did it. Because some show you that when it's all finished, like, and if it's too thick, just wipe it over with a rag. A lot of this even grass isn't properly dry yet, so I'm rushing it a bit too much. But you get the idea anyway now. And then don't forget, this is one that I like, my underbrush, different shades of it, whatever. And I could put some more, I put some on the hillsides there, but I should put a bit in between the tracks as well. It'll give it that full full, shall we say, grass look then. Right, I'll continue on my own. This is more or less dry now. Well, it is dry, but you can see now how a lot better effect now when the rails are rusted and the grass put down. Like when I said before about taking grass up to the edges of your fencing and walling, it just finishes it off, doesn't it, you know. Just one or two bits that wants a little bit of adjustment. Now I'm quite happy with that. Got my smooth curves as we said we were trying to do. And this end looks a lot better. Just run with a bit of sound on, and then the effect of that Deltic, I know you all like it. And so we've got Tony's in situ now. Mind you, I don't know why I dare open it yet. Until I have more than 6 people together, have we?